Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to be able to say to you, welcome to Cabal Vision HD, the new official Blood Bowl TV.
Hello there, YouTube. I'm the Sage, and you're watching the unboxing of the 2016 re-release of Blood Bowl, the game of fantasy football. Now, Blood Bowl is without a doubt my all-time favorite game in the world, so I'm very excited to see it back in the spotlight, getting this much attention. Over on the back, we've got our standard explanation text and images, and the contents of the game. Alright, so let's have a look and see what's inside. This grey sprue is for the pass marker, which you can see is split up in 2 bits. It looks positively huge. We've got 1 bit over here and 1 bit over there with the stripes indicating the range. We've got a scatter template with 8 directions and a throw-in template with 3 directions. The blue sprues that we see here contain the figures for the human team. These are 2 identical sprues, and together they will let you make 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, 2 catchers, 6 linemen, as well as some markers. Over here in green we have the sprues for the orcs, and these will let you make 2 black orcs, 2 blitzers, 2 throwers, and 6 line orcs. Now, I don't go into detail here on how the models look, but if you'd like to have a look at them, check out this video where they are fully painted and shown off by Games Workshop. Here we have the basis for the models, and this is probably a good time to note that the game is quite considerably bigger than it was before. So the bases are 32mm, as you can see here, whereas the old bases were 25mm, so let's compare the two. As you can see, this is quite a formidable difference in size, and the same scale difference is applied everywhere in the game. And here we have the dice. So the dice come in 2 sets, 1 for each team, and each set comes with 2d6, 3 block dice, a d8, and a d16. The dice feel nice and hefty, they've got a good feel to them. I'll briefly show you the facings on the block dice here. We've got a push, we've got a both down, we've got a pow push, the skull, and the pow. Now you can't see these all too well, so at the end of the video I'll briefly show you some pictures of these. And you can see we've got the d16, the d8, nice runic figuring, and the d6 with a nice logo at the 6. So there's this divider thing in the middle, which has a cool logo on it, which seems kind of nice. And on the back, it's basically just commercials. Next up, we have the rulebook. Now, this rulebook only contains the basic rules that you need to play the 2 starting teams and only the positionals that are currently in them. Also, note that we have 2 of these cheat sheets, which are very useful, 1 for each coach. They contain information on sequence of play, movement, blocks, knockdowns, throwing, rerolls, and victory conditions. Over on the back, we've got an agility table, weather table, blocking, kickoff, injury, and basic skills. Note that I'll be doing a further video on the contents of the rulebook as well as the Death Zone expansion and the errata later. So here we come to the pitch. Now the pitch folds up into 8ths, which means it's relatively compact and easily transported. However, it does mean that there's some steps involved in unfolding it, and since the pitch is a bit bigger than it used to be, it's quite cumbersome. However, once it's on the table, that doesn't bother you, of course. So here we see the human side of the pitch. It looks pretty generic, and note that we've got 2 trapdoors on the pitch, one over on this side, and one over on the other side. And these trapdoors correspond to special play cards, which are also in the basic set. On the back of the human side, we've got the orc side of the pitch with a lot more flavor to it, I think. And this one also has the 2 trapdoors marked on it. The whole thing folds up fairly neatly. Once you've got it accordioned, then you're good to go. Here we see the dugouts for the teams. So we've got 2 of these, obviously. And this is the human side, so we've got both of those. And what you can see here is that it's got the marker for touchdowns, it's got a marker for your turns in the first half, another for your turns in the second half, and one for your rerolls. Also, we've got places for reserves, KOs, and injured, and nicest touch is that they marked the numbers that you would need to roll to get a KO or an injury. Over on the back, we've got the orc side of the thing, and again with the same marker tracks. A nice addition, especially for the newer coaches, is that we've got player cards for every positional currently in the game, and also we've got special play cards like this set, which has the random events in it, as well as the other deck, the Miscellaneous Mayhem. And these special play cards have become part of the base rules, unlike previous versions where they were optional house rules. The other decks are expected to arrive with later expansions. The player cards give the coaches all the information they need in order to get started. So here are the cards for the human team. We've got the Thrower, the Blitzer, the Catcher. Note that it's got armor 7 still. And of course the Lineman. Of course, we've also got a similar set for the Orcs, which have the Blitzer card in it, the Black Orc card, the Thrower, and the Line Orc. There we go. We've also got a similar set of cards for the star players. So here we see the Mighty Zug, Morg, Varak Gulchewer, and Griff Oberwald. The last two things we find in the box are codes for Blood Bowl 2. So one for 50% off the base game and the other for a cool jersey and some exclusive balls. Last we see that we've also got some transfers for putting logos, player types, numbers onto either the base or the shoulder pads. Also released today are Death Zone Season 1, which is the first supplement with a bunch of races, as well as a White Dwarf with a focus on Blood Bowl. Death Zone contains rules for new races. Well, when we say new, we mean Skaven, Nurgle, Dwarves, Pro Elves, now called Elven Union, High Elves, Dark Elves, and Wood Elves, as well as a bunch of rules, some of which are kind of different. I'll get into that later. And we've got a White Dwarf with a bunch of Blood Bowl related content, including painting stuff, and also a match report featuring Jervis Johnson. So that concludes the unboxing. Goodbye for now, and here's the picture that I promised you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to press the thumbs up button, and if you'd like to see more of my content, mostly Blood Bowl 2, then do remember to hit subscribe as well, and I'll see you next time.